Hi, my name is Roger, and on this channel I talk about cameras, tech gear and videography. But before we get started on this week's video, I just want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you that has clicked on the subscribe button lately. My subscriber count has gone up quite a bit recently, and it's all because of you, so thank you so much. And if you aren't subscribed yet, please do so. Click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, then you will get a notification every time I come out with a new video. And I try and come out with one new video every week where I talk about cameras, tech gear and videography, and sometimes photography. So if you want to be a part of our little community, please hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, leave a comment in the comment section down below. That will really be appreciated too. As a matter of fact, the topic of this week's video comes from a comment that was left on this video I posted a while ago. In this video, I talk about flat picture profiles and how cameras like the Canon M50 and the Canon M6 Mark II doesn't come with a flat picture profile inside of the camera, and how you can tweak or adjust the neutral picture profile that's inside of the cameras into a flat profile that will give you more dynamic range and more to work with if you're gonna color grade your footage in post. But this comment that I got, and by the way, I have to say thank you to everybody that is commenting on my videos, because mostly I get positive feedbacks and that really gives me a boost when it comes to wanting to do more videos. So thank you for that. This comment was made by somebody that's called Estra. I don't know this person. I don't know if this person has a lot of experience when it comes to picture profiles, dynamic range, photography, videography. I don't know what background this person has. And I have to say, before I say anything else, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. And I'm not saying that this person is wrong in its comments, but I thought it was an interesting comment and I wanted to dive into it and figure out if this person actually is true in what he is saying. So, without further ado, let's roll the intro and then I will read the comment to you. If you haven't watched the video that I'm talking about that this comment was left on, please go and watch that video so you know what this comment is about. But now I'm gonna read the comment that this Estra left for me, and then we're gonna dive into this. So the comment is as follows. So basically, your color graded footage looks like standard Canon footage. You shoot in flat so you can grade it and get what you would have gotten if you shot in standard. Waste of time, don't you think? The whole idea of flat profiles is to have a good dynamic range and to apply heavy grading without losing much quality. Your flat profile isn't capable of achieving either. So Estra, thank you for the comment, by the way. And I thought it was an interesting comment because what you are saying here is that the neutral profile that I adjusted into a flat profile isn't doing anything for me. It is as if I was shooting in the standard profile that comes inside of the cameras. So I want to compare the standard profile that's inside of the cameras with the flat neutral profile that I have adjusted, and I thought it would be fun just to throw in the Cinestyle picture profile as well. So we now have three profiles that we can compare against each other. The standard profile, the neutral flat profile, and the Cinestyle profile. So how do we do this? First of all, we have to shoot some footage with these three profiles so we have something to compare it to. And the footage has to be kind of the same footage. So the other day, me, my family, we went on a boat trip with my parents-in-law, and it's their boat, by the way. And we had a blast. We had a really nice day. It was really good weather. And we did some fishing, we got some crabs, and everybody had a really nice time. And I brought my camera with me, the Canon M6 Mark II, and as for the lens, I used the Canon EOS 10 to 18mm with an adapter. This lens is the newest lens in my lens collection. I have not gotten a neutral density filter for this lens, so I did all the shooting that day with this lens without a neutral density filter. So that means I had to put the f-stop at around 18, 20, 22, depending on how much light there was. At one point at the boat trip, we were standing quite still, so I thought I'd use that opportunity to get some footage with these three picture profiles that's kind of the same. It had the same highlights and the same shadows, so I thought that would be a good opportunity to get some comparison footage that I could use in this video. But before we start comparing the footage, I just want to go back to the comments again, because the comment said that my adjusted flat profile was exactly like the standard profile inside of the cameras. So to do this comparison with the basis in this comments, I'm not going to do anything with the standard footage. The standard footage is exactly like it comes out of the camera. I'm not gonna adjust anything to it, because that's what the comment said. My flat profile is exactly like the standard profile, and this was probably a waste of time. So let's see if this is true. Let's see if we get more out of my flat profile than the standard profile. Before we do anything, I just want to show you how these three profiles looks without me doing anything to any one of them. So if we go into Final Cut Pro, and yes, I'm using Final Cut Pro for my video editing and the color grading of this footage. And if we start at the beginning with the standard profile, we can see that the clouds are kind of blown out. And if we look at the LumaScope for this footage, we can see that the highlights are all the way up to 100%, and probably there are details in the highlights that has gone missing, because the Canon M6 Mark II and the Canon M50 is an 8-bit camera. It doesn't collect as much information in the footage like a 10-bit camera would have done. And the 10-bit cameras often come with a log profile or a flat profile in the cameras from the manufacturer. So the best thing would have been to use a log profile from the manufacturer. But the Canon M6 Mark II and the Canon M50 doesn't come with a flat profile in the cameras. That's why I tweaked the neutral profile, so I would get kind of a flat profile to get more information or more dynamic range in the footage. But back to the standard profile. We can see that the standard profile actually looks quite good. It kind of looks like it did that day when we were out on the boat. Yeah, the standard profile, it's really good. It looks great. And if we then go over to the flat profile or the adjusted neutral profile, we can see that it's all grayed out. There are almost no colors in the picture. And if we look at the flat profile against the standard profile, we also see that the standard profile has a lot more sharpening in the footage than the flat profile. And this is also true with the Cinestyle profile. If we look at this footage against the standard profile, we also see that there is a lot less sharpening in the Technicolor Cinestyle picture profile than the standard profile. And there is a natural explanation to this, because if we go into each profile and see what kind of settings each profile has, we see that in the standard profile, the strength or sharpening in the profile is all the way up to a level 4. But if we look at the adjusted flat neutral profile and the Technicolor Cinestyle profile, we see that the sharpening and strength is all the way down to 0. So of course the standard profile will have more sharpening in it. But we can totally change this. We can add more sharpening to the flat profile and the Cinestyle profile in post. So that's the three profiles up against each other when we haven't done anything. And like I said, the standard profile looks quite good. So let's see if we can do something about the flat neutral profile and the Technicolor Cinestyle profile and compare these against the standard. Okay, so I think I'm done. I've done a quick color correction on the flat neutral profile, and I did a quick color correction on the Cinestyle profile. But before we start the comparison against the standard profile, I just have to say I am not a professional color correctioner. I only do this as a hobby, so bear that in mind. But let's see what we have. So if we go through the standard profile again, this looks like this, and it looks quite okay. Now let's see the results of the flat neutral profile. And here is the flat neutral profile. What I want you to take a look at is the highlights. And by this I mean the sky, because if we go back to the standard profile, the clouds almost go into each other. They don't have a lot of texture to them. They look okay, I'm not saying that, but you don't see the clouds that much. And I want you to take notice of this antenna that's on the mountain. Here in the standard profile, we can see that there is an antenna there, but it's just a small line. We can't really see the antenna, we just see that there is something there. But if we now go over to the flat profile, the clouds, they're not perfect, I know, but they stand more out. And if we take a closer look at this antenna, we now see more of the surroundings around the antenna. That means that this picture profile has gathered more information between the shadows and the highlights than the standard profile did. And if we go over to the Technicolor Cinestyle, here the clouds look kind of more natural again. If we take a look at the antenna, we have lost more information there. So this is not scientific evidence that the flat neutral profile works, but we can definitely see more of the antenna. The clouds stand more out than with the standard profile, and I think that this picture profile gathers more information. But I'm not going to just take this footage as a basis of comparison, since all of these three profiles have lost information in the highlights. I thought it would be wise to gather more footage for one more comparison, so that's what I did. I took my Canon M6 Mark II, put it on a tripod, placed it right outside of my house, and I shot the same footage, now using my 22mm Pancake lens, and again with the same settings in all three different picture profiles. So let's first take a look at the standard profile, and again, the standard profile looks quite good. It captures a lot of colors, and Canon's color profile is really awesome. And we see that the footage looks really sharpened because of the sharpening adjustments inside of the profile. The footage looks quite good. It's quite dark, but then again, I shot the same footage with the same settings in every profile. So if we go over to the adjusted neutral profile, this looks like that, and we can see that we have lost some sharpening if we compare it to the standard profile. But again, without color correcting anything, I think we already now can see that there is a difference in the shadows. By the flower, we already can see more information in the flat profile than in the standard profile. But let's see how it looks when we have color graded it. And then again, the Cinestyle picture profile, here we have a lot more information in the shadows than in the standard profile. And we can see that in the LumaScope also, because the Cinestyle picture profile, the shadows are above 0. But in my adjusted neutral profile and in the standard profile, the LumaScope shows that the shadows or the blacks are all the way down to 0. So the Cinestyle picture profile here has adjusted its settings so it has gathered more information in the shadows. But now I'm going to color correct this footage and we will see how the end result compares to the standard profile. So now I'm done color correcting this footage. So let's take a look at how it turned out. Again, this is shot with the standard profile. Looks quite good, like I said. If we now go over to my flat neutral profile, Here I want you to take a look at both what's inside of the shadows and what's inside of the highlights in order to see the difference in what the image has captured. Let's take the shadows first. First, let's go to this flower that's over here in the left bottom corner. In the standard profile, everything is quite dark. You almost don't see the flower in the left side corner. You can see that there's something there, but it's hard to see what it is. If we go over to my flat profile, you now see clearly that this is a flower. Here we now see what's inside of the shadows. Of course, I probably could have done something with the standard profile. I could have elevated the shadows a bit and maybe we would have seen more of what's inside of the shadows. But like the comment said, it was a waste of time color grading my flat profile because it would look just like the standard profile. And this is my point. My adjusted neutral profile into a flat profile, it has captured more of the dynamic range that's inside of the footage. And if we take a look at the clouds, with the standard profile, you can see that there is a cloud over there, but if we go over to my flat profile, you clearly can see more texture inside of the cloud. The profile has gathered more information. But if we take a look at the Cinestyle picture profile, I think in this footage, the Cinestyle picture profile got the best out of the whole thing. The Cinestyle picture profile, I think, looks the best. Here we got more information in the shadows than in both the standard and the flat one, and the highlights also gathered more information. Here we can see even more detail in the clouds. So here at this point, I think the Cinestyle picture profile got the best out of this footage. So what's my conclusion to all of this? Well, Astra, to comment on your comment, I don't think it's a waste of time filming in my adjusted neutral profile into a flat profile or shooting the footage with the Cinestyle picture profile, because in the footage I have shown you right here in this video, we gather more information by shooting in a flat profile than just shooting in the standard profile. So Astra, I'm sorry, I don't think it's a waste of time shooting in the flat profile, and I think that the adjusted neutral profile works better than the standard profile when it comes to the high dynamic range. But I'm curious, what do you think? Please leave a comment in the comment section down below. What are you shooting at when you're shooting? Do you use the standard profile or any of the other already installed profiles inside of your camera? Or do you use a flat profile and then color grade your footage in post? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. Maybe we can reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2020. Give me a like if you like this video. That would also be awesome. So that's it for this week. I hope you got something out of this video. Maybe I will see you in another video. Bye.